Hi everybody, welcome back to Niecy's Closet. Today I'm going to show you how to purl. Last week I told you how to cast on and I showed you how to knit, and you knitted the garter stitch. This time I'm going to show you how to purl, and I'm going to show you the stockinette stitch. I'm using a size 8 knitting needle. The yarn, this is the yarn I'm using, and it's called I Love This Yarn, super soft print, and I bought this yarn at Hobby Lobby. And once again, it's a number 4. And what's this color? The color is called Eagle Gold, in case you're interested. Now, I have done 2, 4, 6, 8 rows. And now, I'm going to work on a purl row. So, after you finish knitting, you're going to turn your work like this, and you're going to take your knitting needle, and instead of going into the back like you do for knitting, instead of going to the back, we're going to go to the front. So you take your needle, you go right into the front, you wrap around, and you pull the yarn through and up the needle. You see that? You go into the back, into the front, pull the yarn around, pull the yarn through and up, just like this. In the front, wrap it around, pull the yarn through and up. In the front, wrap around, pull the yarn through and up. Do you see what I'm doing? In the front, wrap around, pull the yarn through. You see? In the front, wrap around, oops, in, wrap around, pull the yarn through. And as you're doing it, you're pushing your stitches up at the same time so that it lifts off of the needle easily. Right now what I did was I did 20 stitches. Now see, I'm on my last stitch. I'm going to go to the front, wrap around, and I've done my last stitch. You see that? Now that I've done my last stitch, I'm going to turn my work. Now that I've done one row of purling, I'm going to knit. So you go to the back, you see that? You take your needle, you go under to the back of your left needle, you wrap it, and pull the yarn through. Remember, when we purled, we went to the front and we wrapped towards the left. Now we're knitting. So we're putting our right needle to the back of the left, and we're going and wrap around our yarn the opposite way. You see? We're taking our needle, going under, taking the needle to the back of taking the right needle to the back of the left needle, and we're wrapping. See? We're going under, wrap around, bring the yarn down and through, and push your stitches up as you go. I'm gonna go slow. You see what I'm doing? So, as you knit one row and purl one row, what you're doing is you're making what is called the stockinette stitch. This is the stockinette stitch because you knit one row and purl one row. This is the garter stitch because all you're doing is knitting. You see? I'm going to the back, wrapping around, pulling the yarn down and up off the needle. Now I'm at the end of knitting. This is my last stitch. You see the stockinette stitch versus the garter. We're going to turn our work. And this time, we're going to purl. So when you're purling, you're wrapping around clockwise. When you're knitting like this, you go counterclockwise when you're knitting. You see that? So let's get back to purling. You see I'm going into the front, wrapping counterclockwise, pulling the yarn through. And don't be tight. Be loose, because if you knit or purl tightly, you're going to fight the stitches, and you don't want to fight the stitches. So when you knit, be loose. I mean, not too loose, just loose enough so that the needle goes through easily. So now we're at the end with the purling. I'm at my last stitch, purling, turn my work. See the stockinette stitch? That's knit one row, purl one row. As you're knitting, when you make some hats or some scarves, it's going to tell you to knit two, purl two. So I'm going to show you this. You're going to knit two, 1, 2. Then you're going to purl two. So you're going to bring your yarn to the front and purl 2 stitches. 1, 2. Bring the yarn back to the back of your work, and you're going to knit 2 stitches. Then you take your yarn to the front, and you're going to purl 2 stitches. You see? Knit 2. Wrap back to the front, purl 2. I'm going to do a few rows so you can see what that looks like. And then you can practice. Knit 2. Purl 2. Knit 2. And purl 2. Then your last 2 stitches were purl 2. That was your last 2 stitches. So you turn your work and you can see that these are 2 knits and these are 2 purls. I want you to see the difference because this is a purl because you see this bump. You don't really see the bump here. You see the bumps here. I'm going to do a few rows so you can basically see what I mean. I did a few rows of knit 2, purl 2 because I want you to see what it looks like. This is your knitted garter stitch right here. This is your knit and purl row, which is a stockinette stitch. This area here is your stockinette stitch. So I wanted to show you what knit 2, purl 2 looks like. And this is where you knit 2 stitches, you purl 2 stitches. You knit 2 stitches, purl 2 stitches. Knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. I'm going to do a row for you. And I'm pushing my stitches up so it easily comes off my knitting needle. I'm going to knit 2. And I'm going to purl 2. Now, you see how this is the knitted part where it's kind of flat right here because it goes up and around. The purl is bumpy. You see the bumpy? This is flat. This is bumpy. So we're going to knit. And we're going to bring the yarn to the front. And we're going to purl. See? You're purling clockwise. You bring the yarn to the front. You're knitting counterclockwise. You bring the yarn to the back and you purl, because you see the bumps? I'm calling them bumps right here. So you purl where you see the bumps and you bring the yarn to the back and you knit. This is how you can tell where you knit. You knit right here. Bringing the needle to the back, wrapping counterclockwise, and you bring the yarn through. To the back, wrap around, bring the yarn through. You see that? Then you bring the yarn to the front. You see the two bumps, and you purl. Knit. I'm only showing you this because there's going to come a time you're going to make a hat, and you'll need to know how to knit to, purl to. I'm at the end because I'm going to show you how to make a hat. All right? See the difference? When you do the band around the hat, you can either do knit to, purl to, knit to, purl to, or you can do a straight garter stitch, just knitting. You'll see. And the stockinette stitch will be the middle of the hat. It'll be nice to have you knit along with me to learn how to make a hat. So I hope this helps you. I want you to practice. I want you to practice knitting. I want you to practice knitting one row, purling one row, and I want you to practice knitting to, purl to, knit to, purl to, knit to, purl to. Okay, everybody? I hope this helps you. This is my first time teaching how to knit. I hope I was clear. Please let me know if I wasn't. And I'll be back again for another tutorial. Okay? Until next time, keep knitting. Bye now.